A fascinating battle awaits us here at the Yas Marina circuit in the nation's capital of Abu Dhabi. The United Arab Emirates has already treated us to some magnificent racing so far in 2023, but now we come to the title deciding weekend. If you came here looking for a showdown, you've certainly found one. 4 drivers battling for the F4 UAE Championship title of 2023. James Wharton for Australia, Tuukka Tarppanen for Finland, Yuga Chukwu for the United States, and Valerio Rinicella of Italy. One of these 4 is going to be champion. It's going to be an incredible battle. Let's look back over what happened last time out at Dubai. It's a fantastic hat-trick of races that are going to give us an interesting show today. 3 races over the Dubai Autodrome circuit and a highly motivated grid of racers. 40 competitors at the latter stage of the F4 UAE Championship 2023, and they all have one objective in mind: put on a show and let everyone remember what they can do heading into the main body of the season. Race 1 saw a terrific start for the Finn Tuukka Tarppanen, who really demonstrated his candour and his skill base in the first race of the weekend. Got himself into a strong position. There were great battles all the way through the field as drivers are still trying to make those impressions. Brando Badua going wheel to wheel. Arvid Lindblad sadly connecting with Keanu Al-Azari, 2 very talented youngsters out of the race. The XL Motorsport teammates fueling wheel to wheel down the back straight. And then, unfortunately for Alex Abkasaba and Flavio Olivieri, their little battle ended in a spin for the Italian. Ugo Chukwu backs to the wall, trying to make progress and ending up losing ground. He would only end up 9th in race 1. And that really has put paid to a decent, strong lead in the championship at this point. Flavio Olivieri's spin triggered the safety car, which is how we ended race 1. But for Tuukka Tarppanen, it was the victory that he deserved and he had fought for. And now he is on the charge. The Mumbai Falcons team hadn't even celebrated in full pelt until race 2 came along. Tuukka Tarppanen still basking in the glow from his earlier victory. And then straight into the second encounter, when we would have even more excitement for the man in car number 8. The next morning, Yuga Chukwu race over in seconds after a clash with the man who stalled on the main starting grid, Alex Bolduev. Yuga Chukwu out and no points for the American. Once the safety car peeled into the pits, Jesse Kadashkedo did not quite follow the safety car through and ended up picking up a penalty. He would win the race on the road later, but sadly that 5 seconds would drop him to 10th by the finish. Nandavad Binombakti made a strong impression on his first race weekend in the championship. But unfortunately, Valentin Klus dropped a lot of points by spinning off the road. The final safety car period of race 2 would be triggered by Theo Jensen and Georgi Janavsky, who would clash into each other at the tail end of a very tough race. So once the safety car peeled in, Kadashkedo's penalty was applied, and Tuukka Tarppanen would come through for the second win out of 2. Could he make it a hat-trick? We were all on tenterhooks, waiting to find out. Then came the third duel, and it was right from the start that Tuukka Tarppanen got himself into the mix. Keanu Al-Azari fighting his corner to hold on to second place. There was drama further back, but Keanu Al-Azari was not going to crack under the pressure laid on him by his opponents. Great racing in the midfield. It was one of the cleanest races of the 2023 F4 UAE Championship campaign. A race that was unsullied and unpolluted by safety car periods, but not by drama. Lindblad was battling away with the likes of James Wharton and Valerio Rinicella all the way throughout. But it was Tuukka Tarppanen that was able to come through and hold on to his position from the sharp end of the field, with pressure from Keanu Al-Azari notwithstanding. Fernando Barrichello and Ismail Ahmed would clatter into each other in the final corner of the final lap, but Tuukka Tarppanen would do the unthinkable, a hat-trick of victories. He has now brought the gap down to just 6 points to his teammate James Wharton, and with 75 points left to score and 3 races remaining here at Yas Marina, anything could happen. A fascinating challenge awaits us here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi as we get ready for an exciting duel amongst these 4 incredible and impeccable talents. We are very excited to see how things are going to play out. After qualifying, it's very much James Wharton's show to command at the moment in front of Tuukka Tarppanen, Keanu Al-Azari and Arvid Lindblad. There are some big talents up at the sharp end of this field. Pedro Claro and Federico Rafai did well in qualifying as well. They're on the third row in front of Kanato Lee, Mohammed Ibrahim, and championship contender Yugo Ugachukwu in ninth position in front of Akshay Bora. So things could get very interesting. So here we are looking at the starting grid here at Yas Marina. It's going to be a really exciting run for all of our contenders. James Wharton is on pole position, and this is a tough situation for him to be in. Can he soak it up? Can he cope with the pressure here at Yas Marina? He's certainly been strong so far this year. So let's see what he is feeling on the main starting grid as we head down to the pits and Feline Wang.
Hey James, it's good to start the weekend with a pole position. How confident are you to stay ahead?
Yeah, I think I have to be confident. I'm obviously the fastest car here, so just do my job and pick off the points for the whole weekend.
Okay, have a good race. 那刚刚我问到 James 呢，他提到他的车速呢非常的快，所以他也非常的有信心能够保持一直是领先的位置。Back to you guys.
Thanks, Feline. Good to hear from James Wharton, who looks fairly calm and focused. I managed to grab a quick word with him this morning, and I've never known him so laid back. He just knows exactly what he has to achieve. He has an objective, he knows how to meet it, and he's looking pretty relaxed. He knows that he has proven his worth over the course of this season. Win or lose in terms of the championship, he has proven himself a worthy adversary to anyone on this starting grid. There is Tuka Tarpanen. Second position on the starting grid for him after his hat-trick at Dubai. Everybody is keeping very excited and focused on what he could achieve here on the Yas Marina circuit. You may have noticed as well, watching along, that we are not on the Formula One starting straight, or the main straight, as it would be deciphered. We're actually starting from the support lane paddock on the far side of the circuit. So turn one is going to be that dynamic new hairpin that's only been in operation for the last 2 seasons of motor racing. Which gives you about 3 different racing lines. You can go very tight to the inside apex, you can run high wide around the banking, or you can keep it fairly neat and tidy through the middle of the corner. Lots of options. Kiana Al-Azari, third position on the grid for the United Arab Emirates and the Yas Heat Racing team. This is their home turf, literally. And a fabulous opportunity for him, who really has, in these last 2 weekends of the season, showcased that he has just as much speed as the championship protagonists. A lot of people already talking about Kiana Al-Azari as a strong hope for the future in the Middle East. There's Arvid Lindblad, fourth position on the grid. The Red Bull Junior was one of the most exceptional karters in Europe through the whole of the 2021 season. He never finished a weekend off the podium. No other driver could say they have done that. But Arvid Lindblad is ever steady and consistent. A race winner this year. He managed to get the job done in race 3, I should say, round 1 at the Dubai Autodrome. So he definitely knows how to make these things come towards him. And he's going to be battling for another victory, at least, coming into this final weekend. And he's going to be finishing second in the rookie standings, the way things are currently stacked up. There is Pedro Claro, one of the newest drivers in the F4 UAE Championship. He only joined us last week in Dubai for the first time, filling the seat left vacant in the MP Motorsport squad. And the Brazilian has come straight into 5th position on the starting grid for this first race, so he has already shown plenty of speed and tenacity in time qualifying. Good to see him right up at the sharp end, and the Brazilian fan base are going to be very exciting to see, very excited, I should say, to see how things are going to go. For those of you who are watching along on the official YouTube stream, do please keep sending in your comments and your messages. They are very much appreciated, and it is always great to see what people have to say about the anticipation of how this is all going to play out. We are here on the Yas Marina circuit, where so many amazing races and championships have been decided in the past, none the least of which, of course, is the F4 UAE Championship. A year ago, Charlie Wirtz won this title in fantastic fashion, and now there's an opportunity for James Wharton, Tuka Tarpanen, Yugo Ugachukwu or Valerio Rinicella to do it themselves. But it is a very tough battle coming into this weekend. Ugachukwu and Rinicella are tied for points coming into this. It's a very tricky scenario that we find ourselves with at this precise moment in time. So still, the battle is going to rage. There is Yugo Ugachukwu. It is not done yet as far as he is concerned. He is currently on 145 points, the same number of points as Valerio Rinicella. And after a very difficult weekend at the office at Dubai, he was leading the championship going in, of course, but he comes out I'm trying to do the math very quickly in my head. 37 points back from James Wharton. It was a real nightmare, but from his point of view, he now has nothing to lose because he's already the chasing man in third position. If his teammates, Wharton and Tarpanen, were to clash, then he certainly has the opportunity to get himself back up the order once again. But the man he's got to beat, really, is Valerio Rinicella, who is back in 14th position on the starting grid after a very tricky qualifying session for the Italian. And his consistency is what has kept him in the hunt. There's still plenty of names to talk about at the sharp end of the field here as well. Mohammed Ibrahim, who managed to get the nod for this final race weekend at the Mumbai Falcons team, having been replaced for the last 2 rounds by Rishon Rajiv. Mohammed Ibrahim obviously riding the crest of the bag of confidence that he got from that, and has put his car 8th on the starting grid. Very impressive from the Indian driver indeed. And he finds himself there on row 4, very much on merit. That's not been gifted to him. That's no accident that he's put that car up in 8th position. A very strong talent making his way up the ranks, Mohammed Ibrahim. Akshay Bora finds himself in 10th position on the outside of row 5 alongside Yuga Chukwu, so a strong performance from him as well. Brando Badoa and Will McIntyre will be together on the 6th row of the grid, and then Noah Stromsted lines up alongside Valerio Rinicella, fresh off the back of his podium finish in Dubai. And then we have Teofil Nal and Hamdou Al-Kubaisi, 2 names that are definitely ones to watch out for here, particularly Hamdou Al-Kubaisi. A year ago, she had a fantastic run to the victory in dominant fashion as she put herself forward. Was it 2021, actually? I think it might have been 2021, thinking about it. Time flies in the world of Formula 4. And an excellent performance as the competitors now leave the grid onto their formation lap. And what an exceptional battle it is going to be for our competitors. The first of 3 races to determine the identity of the F4 United Arab Emirates champion 2023. James Wharton and Tuka Tarpanen, the title protagonists, go wheel to wheel on the front row. Keanu Al-Azari and Arvid Lindblad, the 2 young pretenders, on the 2nd row. Then Pedro Claro alongside Federico Rifai in the XL Motorsport car. Then it's Kanato Lee alongside Mohammed Ibrahim, the Indian talent for Mumbai Falcons. 9th on the grid is Yuga Chukwu, trying to keep his title hopes alive alongside Akshay Bora, putting in a great showing every time. Brando Badoa and Will McIntyre, 2 men who have every chance of breaking back into the points. Noah Stromsted alongside Valerio Rinicella, still trying to keep his own title hopes alive. Then it's Teofil Nal of France and Hamdou Al-Kubaisi of the United Arab Emirates for the Yas Heat Racing team. Dion Gouda alongside Noah Lyle as they share the 9th row of the starting grid. And then Nandabud Biram Bakhti lining up 19th on the starting grid alongside Valentin Klus of Germany. Jesse Gadashkeda, the Mexican, struggling in qualifying this time. 21st on the grid for him alongside Zachary David. Then Nicola Lacorte ahead of the much improved Sebastian Murray for Crown Competition. Solid qualifying from him. Alex Boljuev alongside the Australian James Bezique, 26th on the grid after missing most of free practice. Bianca Bustamante lining up alongside Flavio Olivieri on the starting grid in row 14. Matteo Quintarelli lines up alongside the Frenchman Raphael Narak to round out the 30. Then Alex Abkasava, he's alongside Kai Darianani, who finds himself in 32nd. Vicky Blockina alongside Theo Jensen as they go together on row 17. Lena Bueller is alongside the Australian talent Jack Beaton for the Pinnacle squad. And then on row 19, it is Georgi Żurawski alongside Ismail Ahmed. And on the back of the grid, we have Luciano Morano along with Fernando Barrichello. A fascinating challenge awaits our youngsters as they head down towards the final chicane of the lap. And we are in for an exciting time as all of the drivers are gearing up ready for an excellent showcase. We hope you're going to enjoy this in just the same way that we are here at the circuit itself. What a battle. What a battle. 40 competitors around the Yas Marina circuit, plenty of overtaking opportunities, and these guys really will go for it. No holds barred, 3 races to go this season. And an absolutely fascinating situation for all of the contenders. So up to the starting grids they will come. Let's see if all of these drivers are going to give us an excellent show for the first race of the weekend, as they make their way onto the support straight, which is obviously midway round the course if you're watching Grand Prix or if you're watching Asian Le Mans, but you're not, you're watching F4 UAE, so this is the main start-finish straight for us. And what a first corner we head our way into. 3 different racing lines to choose from. This is an exceptional opportunity for these youngsters. They've given us great entertainment all the way through the year. 12 races gone and some exceptional performances. right from the outset. We have had some incredible competitors and some great battles all the way through the year. Yuka Chukwu kicked us off with a fascinating pair of victories in Dubai. Then Arvid Lindblad came through to win the third race of that weekend. We shifted to Kuwait Motor Town. James Wharton got the ball rolling for his first win. Chukwu banked in another, and then Zachary David won race 3. A few days later, Chukwu won race 1, Tuka Tarpanen won race 2, and then we had James Wharton finishing off with the hat-trick. At Dubai, it was Tuka Tarpanen all the way. Now we are gearing up ready for the start here for a fascinating battle as we watch Fernando Barrichello making his way to the starting grid. And there's a couple of drivers coming into the pits, actually. A couple of drivers are going to be starting this race from the pit lane. That looks to me like Vicky Burkina coming into the pits then to start this race from the pit straight. So that's from the pit lane, not exactly where she wanted to be at all. But now we're gearing up ready for the start. And that's Fernando Barrichello going to start the race from the pit lane as well. So I think there's going to be 3 or 4 of them that will start this race from the pit lane. And now the last couple of cars will get into position and will get ready as Ismail Ahmed and Luciano Morano get into their grid slots, and the green flag will wave at the back of the grid, and we will go racing for the first time here this weekend in F4 UAE Championship 2023, race 1, round 5. Lights on, lights out, let's go racing at Yas Marina. And there's no start at all for Chiano Al-Azari. Al-Azari is left standing on the grid. That is disastrous for Chiano Al-Azari. Fortunately, it looks as though everybody's going to miss him. But there go Wharton and Tarpanen into the lead as they work their way through the first corner. It's a big run wide for Wharton. Tarpanen's going to get alongside him as they come through. They're going to go side by side already. Wharton and Tarpanen dueling for the victory. Tarpanen trying to go the long way round. James Wharton adamant that he's not going to get through. And Wharton holds the lead. Brilliant racing. Lindblad through into 3rd position. Up to 4th comes Pedro Claro. And what a sensational start to this race as the championship protagonists go wheel to wheel. Brandon Maduo going side by side with Akshay Bora as they work their way past the W Hotel and then onto the main Grand Prix pit straight. But James Wharton has shown his candour up the inside. That is the hard-charging Teofil Nal. He gets through on the inside of Akshay Bora in the final bend of the Grand Prix circuit. The straight, and Teofil Nal still struggling to keep Akshay Bora back. It's going to be 3 wide further back in the pack as everybody's trying to get through without incident. A couple of drivers running deep. Valentin Klus trying to get back on terms with his teammate as they work their way through. Up through the left section on the way down to the hairpin. The famous corner where Max Verstappen took the race win away from Hamilton a couple of years ago in Formula 1, and then locking up the brakes as they go into that hairpin turn. Several opportunities there, presenting themselves, a few overtaking moves. But Wharton is tried. Oh, there's 2 cars, 3 cars spinning in the final bend. A couple of cars going around. So big issue there, I'm afraid. A couple of drivers ending up facing the wrong way. They're going to have to try and pick up who that was again a little bit later. But Akshay Bora is still going side by side with Teofil Nal. And Nal eventually sorts it out as they get into the braking zone for the chicane. But there were a couple of cars facing the wrong way, unfortunately, as they came out of the hairpin. Couldn't quite make out who it was. We'll try and pick it up later. But certainly for Chiano Al-Azari, that is very unfortunate indeed. So the competitors still making a good run of it. Looks as though Will McIntyre and Zachary David have already fallen by the wayside. I think the cars in trouble are Quintarelli, Bustamante and Beaton. They have come through down at the back. So big problems for them, and they've got to try and work their way forward. At the end of lap 1, it is Wharton, Tarpanen, Lindblad, Claro, Rifai, Lee, Yuka Chukwu and Ibrahim. And now this is Yuka Chukwu trying to dive up the inside and make his way further forward. And that is Yuka Chukwu getting the move done. So the American still stepping up the attack and now tucked up behind Federico Rifai. Safety car, safety car. So we have the safety car called to the circuit on lap 2. And that has got to be for the 2 or 3 cars that have spun it at the bottom hairpin, just behind Ferrari World. So a big problem. Safety car comes out onto the circuit then, and that's the car that's left. It looks like Jack Beaton. So I'm afraid Jack Beaton has got a broken right rear suspension, and that is the Australian out of the race. Very unfortunate indeed for Jack Beaton. He's shown flashes of brilliance throughout this season, including a podium finish in Kuwait. But very disappointing indeed for Jack Beaton to end race 1 in this fashion. The safety car will stay at the foot of the pit lane to pick up the cars as they come through. But obviously it's up to James Wharton and Tucker Tarpanen to pick their way around the outside of Jack Beaton's car. So that's very unfortunate. So tricky situation then for all of the competitors. But Jack Beaton now out of the race. I think he's the only one who's actually out of the race, because the other competitors... Oh, well, apparently it looks as though Will McIntyre and Zachary David did not take the start of the race, according to what we've got in front of me. So that's a race winner, Zachary David, and Will McIntyre, who's been battling for top 5 results all year long. And it looks to me as though neither driver was able to take the start of the race. So Jack Beaton is out. Looks to me as though we've only got 37 cars running of the 40 that started. Cars are instructed to keep right at turn 5, of course. Turn 5 is the official name for that corner, although, of course, that's not what it's called in Formula 4 speak. But Jack Beaton, as you can see, the car stranded on the apex of what is officially called turn 5, but obviously we're racing from the support paddock, so it's a different turn 5 to us. Poor Jack Beaton. Very disappointed indeed. A great talent as well, has really put on some great displays in FIA F4 UAE 2023. But it just hasn't come to pass on this occasion. So Wharton, Tarpanen and Lindblad is the top 3, then Pedro Claro and Federico Rifai. Donato Lee in P6 from this man, Yuga Chukwu, who has already fought himself up to 7th, as into the pits for a tyre change. Now, you're going to see a few drivers do this. James Bazik is out of the points, so he elects to come into the pits and change tyres. Now, why are they doing that? Very simple answer. Whoever sets the fastest lap in this race gets pole position for race 2 later this afternoon. So a few drivers may decide, you know what, we're not going to win, we're not going to score decent points, so we're going to come into the pits, we're going to change tyres, we're going to go on a fresh set, and we'll set the fastest lap of the race, and then start race 2 from a decent position. So that's a tactical strategy. And I noticed that Bianca Bustamante and Luciano Morano have done exactly the same thing. Now, that could be key for Bianca Bustamante, the Philippines racer for Prema, who has already scored 2 points finishes in 2023 and has shown a lot of skill up against her male compatriots. But there's an opportunity for her to set a fast lap here and go for a pole position. Now, interestingly, the incident between car 5 and car 19 is going to be investigated after the race. Oh, sorry, car 19, 95 and 93. So that is Bianca Bustamante, Matteo Quintarelli and Jack Beaton, whose car is still there, stranded on the inside apex. The recovery crews haven't got there yet. But that incident is going to be investigated after the race, apparently. So that's 3 cars involved in that one. Matteo Quintarelli was able to keep going in 33rd position, and Bianca Bustamante, despite pitting, has come back in. Well, apparently now, Will McIntyre and Zachary David are now back on the timing screen, so they are in the race after all. Here's the replay of the start. Look how quick that was to try and avoid the stationary Alizali. Great reflexes from Claro and Lee. They almost went straight into the back of the Yazheed car. But still, Wharton running wide at the first corner. Now let's try and unpick what happened. Ah, there we go. It looks as though Bustamante may have just tagged Quintarelli into a spin. Whether that's Quintarelli shutting down the corner or whether that's Bustamante going for a move and then the corner just closing down, we're not entirely sure. I have to say, Jack Beaton's car is still there on the race circuit at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure what is happening, because Jack Beaton's car needs to be cleared before we can go racing again. It must be quite an awkward position on the race circuit for the rescue crews to get to, because Jack Beaton, his car is still there, abandoned at the foot of the hairpin. But the safety car has picked up James Wharton in front of Tarpanen, Lindblad, Claro, Rifai and Kanato Lee. 15 minutes to go, plus the additional lap after that point. Ogachukwu finds himself in 7th. Where is Valerio Rinicella? Well, he's in 13th position at the moment. So Valerio Rinicella in 13th. That's not going to be good enough to score any points at all, and that would pretty much cost him any chance of fighting for this title if he doesn't score points in this race. The rescue crews have got there to Jack Beaton. It'll be a pretty swift operation once they've got the Bobcat and they pick the car up and clear it out of the way. Now, I'm trying to make out what the story is with Will McIntyre and Zachary David, because Will McIntyre popped back onto the timing screen. Zachary David hasn't at any point. But that's two big names in the field, and they seem to be missing. So we'll try and follow that story as much as possible through the race. But obviously, the focus has also got to be on James Wharton and Tuka Tarpanen's title fight up front. There is the crew getting ready. And so the battle is going to resume fairly rapidly, I would think. It's a long circuit here at Yas Marina. So the drivers should get an opportunity, hopefully at the end of this lap, to go racing once again. Now we know the reason why Will McIntyre is not coming up on the screen, and that's because his car does not have a working transponder. Now that is a big issue, actually, because obviously you're meant to make sure that the transponder is fitted and working. So that could come back to bite Will McIntyre. He's currently showing up as being in 14th place behind Rinicella and ahead of Valentin Klus. As into the pits comes one of the XL cars. That is the 54, so that is Alex Bolduev. Now, Bolduev is very good at picking up these fast lap opportunities from out of nowhere. He did this at Dubai. Unfortunately, he stalled on the starting grid. And then Yugo Ugachukwu struck his car, and that was game over as far as the championship is concerned. So Alex Bolduev may be about to pull off that tactic again, as is Jesse Kadashkedo, actually. So Kadashkedo is also in pit road. So that is another tactic being deployed there by the Mexican. Lena Buehler has also come into the pits to change tyres, I notice. So quite a few drivers have thought, you know what, let's just see if we can pop up with a fast lap. It might just happen. And the safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap. I thought it was going to be fairly quick once they picked up Jack Beaton's machine. So the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. We will go racing once again. So a fabulous situation for all of the contenders. So an exceptional situation then for all of the contenders. Well, what an exceptional battle it is going to be. So the contenders are having an exciting run as they come through. The safety car will peel in at the end of this lap, and we are going to go racing. It is going to be such an exciting restart. Wharton trying to back up the pack and going for it. He tries to stretch away from Tarpanen. Tarpanen's going to have pressure from Lindblad right from the outset. And as they work through the chicane, James Wharton, I think, has timed this absolutely to perfection. And they come through. It is green, 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 green. And we are racing again at Yas Marina. Up to the first corner, Wharton has got the textbook restart. But they're still weaving from side to side, trying to get temperature into these tyres. The drivers have been telling me that the change to GT tyres over the Hancocks from last year have been such a big change in terms of the feel of the car. As we go to the restart, Valentin Klus is pressuring all over the back of Valerio Rinicella. But I think that's Klus still trying to make his presence felt here. As the Carlin driver, Dion Gouda, working his way through, ahead of Noah Lyle and Nanavut Birenbakhti. So we're back under green flag conditions here. The field working its way under the W Hotel. Wharton clear of Tarpanen by 0.7 of a second on the restart. So that couldn't really have gone any better for the Australian if he tried it twice. There is Akshay Bora trying to fend off from the hard-charging Valerio Rinicella, who goes wide. Rinicella's not given up. He's going to attack Akshay Bora once again, and then you've got... Now that's got to be one of the high-techs in the mix there, trying to work their way through. That is the number 5 of Will McIntyre, tuning away with Valentin Klus. But Rinicella has made the move on Akshay Bora up the hill, so he's managed to get there. And Rinicella has picked off Akshay Bora for the moment. And still the competitors race for supremacy. This is excellent stuff so far. And a terrific challenge for all concerned. Excellent performance from James Wharton off the restart though, and he has been able to get well clear. So still the contenders rage and battle on. Down the back straight. Lindblad looking feisty behind Tuka Tarpanen. Maybe he can steal a second position, and if he's got the rhythm, he might be able to go for the victory himself. Still working the magic. Track limits has been flagged for 3 cars at turn 1. And that is Pedro Clero being one of them, the 62. So fascinating stuff. Keanu Al-Azari, having finally got going again, has actually found his way back into the top 20, would you believe, as Valentin Klus has had to come into the pits. So Valentin Klus is now in pit lane. So a fascinating duel going on at the moment. Here comes the scrap. This is Brandon Badua with Noah Stromstead on his tail. A lock-up in front from Kanato Lee as they work their way towards the W Hotel once again. So Arvid Lindblad has been flagged for track limits. So too is Pedro Claro. So too has the leader, James Wharton. So even James Wharton is not safe. It's a fascinating situation. And still the battle's raging. Competitors making a good play of it at the moment. Wharton in front of Tarpinen, having set the fastest lap at 1:57.498 for James Wharton. Still, Brandon Badua trying to shake off Noah Stromstead as they duel over 8th position. And behind them is the man in the final points-paying position, Théophile Nal of France. Ibrahim is 11th in front of Gouda, Lyle and Bidon Bakhti. Well, that's a front wing that definitely needs to be connected to something. So I think that's Valentin Klus. That's the reason why he's in the pits. I think that's his front wing. Down to the hairpin. 8 minutes plus the additional lap remaining. Not long left to play this race out. But James Wharton holds the lead from Tuukka Tarpinen. Tarpinen's dropping Lindblad now. Tuukka Tarpinen starting to read the situation. Tuukka is so good at chasing. But if he manages to get past James Wharton and take the lead, and then obviously start to stretch away, and if he wins with Wharton second, Tarpinen would take the lead of the championship by just 1 point with 2 races to go. Nail-biting stuff in the F4 United Arab Emirates Championship, and that really would be game on. There is Keanu Al-Azari behind Flavio Olivieri and ahead of Sebastian Murray. Keanu Al-Azari is making the mother of all comebacks here, diving up to the inside line. Olivieri is determined not to let him through, though. It's a great recovery drive from Keanu Al-Azari, currently in 17th position behind Flavio Olivieri. Considering he had the problems at the start and the whole field got past him, Keanu Al-Azari is having a magnificent comeback in this race. That is a proper hard-charging effort from Al-Azari. Fastest lap of the race, though, comes from Tarpinen, 0.2 of a second quicker than James Wharton. And that's the crucial factor in this championship fight. Tarpinen is catching the leader of the standings. His deficit to him is only 6 points. There are 7 points between first and second place. Wharton can either see his lead double practically over Tuukka Tarpinen, or see it diminish and disappear completely. Incident involving car 61 on lap 6 will be investigated after the race. That's Valerio Brinicella. So Brinicella way down the order after his incident, and that could be the end of his championship attack as far as Valerio Brinicella is concerned. That is very disappointing indeed for Brinicella. Not where he wanted to be at all, and unfortunately his back has been to the wall. So a very tough situation. And I'm afraid Brinicella is not going to finish in the points in this one. Here comes the move from Ugo Chukwu. Diving in up the inside and takes the position. So Ugo Chukwu dueling with Kanato Lee for P6, and he gets through. Nicely handled. And further back, it's ironic because you've got Nicola Lecourte battling away with James Pazik in the sister cars. But Ugo Chukwu is now up into 5th position past Kanato Lee. Badua in 7th, Stromstead in 8th, Rifai is 9th, and Niall is in 10th. But Wharton, Tarpinen and Lindblad is the podium. Now, interestingly, start position car 7 under investigation. That is Arvid Lindblad, who is currently in 3rd place. So Pedro Claro might be about to inherit the podium regardless. So that's why Ugo Chukwu is pushing, because he's in 5th position. If he can catch and pass Claro and Lindblad picks up a penalty, then Ugo Chukwu will be on the podium. And then this will be a 3-way fight for the title. Wharton, Tarpinen, Lindblad, Claro, Ugo Chukwu, Lee, Badua, Stromstead, Rifai and Théophile Nal. Those are the point scorers. Still battling on. So there are competitors having a very tough race of it. But it looks to me as though we have 3 retirements in total. We have Jack Beaton, we have Bianca Bustamante, who did not get back out after her incident, and Luciana Morano has parked it in the pits as well. I think Zachary David has as well. I think he had some initial problems. Zachary David having a bit of a bad race of it from his point of view. Not where he wants to be in the slightest, but James Wharton leads Tuka Tarpanen by 1 second. He was actually quicker than Tarpanen by 0.3 of a second. Interestingly, a note on the timing screen has come up. Safety car procedure is under investigation. That's interesting. So side by side, Stromstad still trying to edge out Padua to the braking zone of the chicane. Padua locks up in his attempts to stay in front of Noah Stromstad. Stromstad can go slow in, fast out here as they go onto the start-finish straight up towards turn 1. Stromstad is going to have another crack at Padua, and further back this is going to be Teofil Nile going side by side with Federico Rifai. Battle for 7th, battle for 9th, and both protagonists are going to have to go the long way round on the man in front, but that doesn't mean they won't make the move. Nile is going to commit to it round the outside with Rifai. Stromstad bailed out of it, so too in the end as Teofil Nile, but it's not over yet. Stromstad still all over the back of Brando Padua, and Teofil Nile trying to go the long way round at the W Hotel. That's a phenomenal move. Teofil Nile, where did that come from? What a move from the Frenchman. And he almost kisses the wall as he comes out of the W Hotel complex. My goodness. Oh, and there's an incident. That's Fernando Barrichello. Appears to have gone around there. Let's have a look. Oh, he had some assistance. Oh, no, wait. Is that the Cram? It is the Cram. That is Olivieri going around. So Olivieri goes around. I'm not sure who it was that went into him there. It could have been his teammate, or it could have been one of the Santalocks. Might even have been Fernando Barrichello. Couldn't quite make out who it was. But certainly the 2 Crown competition drivers who were battling with each other, that could have been Murray actually, which would have been very unfortunate. The 2 Crown drivers were in the top 20 and doing a phenomenal job. 2 minutes to go, plus the additional lap on top of that. And Wharton is now setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. Goodbye, Tuka, says James Wharton. This is not your day. This is my day. James Wharton may have allowed Tuka Tarpanen to creep in and close him down in Dubai. But here in Yas Marina, it's the experience that counts for James Wharton. He now leads by 1.9 ahead of Tuka Tarpanen, with Lindblad trying to bear down on the Finn. Still some good battles going on here. Wharton, Tarpanen, Lindblad, Clero, Ugachukwu and Kanato Lee. A fabulous situation. What a sensational run. A really exciting run for all of the contenders. So now Lindblad is going to make his bid. All over the back of Tuka Tarpanen. The Englishman versus the Finn. Tuka Tarpanen having to try and find some time on his Australian teammate James Wharton. There is a double yellow at turn 2 apparently. So it looks as though we've lost somebody at that far point of the course. There is a double yellow at turn 2. That means that somebody has parked the car there. And with a few seconds left on the clock, I think they're trying their best to keep the race going to the finish if we can. There is an incident up at this point of the course. Let's have a look and see if there is anything there in particular worth keeping an eye on. I can't see anything. Ah, there's a stationary car off to the right, that's why. There's a stationary car off to the right, and I'm not entirely sure who that is. That might be Flavio Olivieri. Oh, that's Nicola Lacorte. Nicola Lacorte has gone off on the exit of the W Hotel. And I'm afraid Nicola Lacorte has gone off at a very awkward point on the course. Let's have a look at how he did it. Oh, he's done it on his own. Oh dear, we saw a lot of drivers making mistakes like that in practice and in qualifying. So Nicola Lacorte, the Italian, having a big error in judgment there. The time has ticked down to 0, and we're about to go into the final lap by the look of it. The time has ticked down at exactly the right moment. And look, Clero is under pressure from Hugo Ugachukwu now as we go into the last lap. Wharton leads Tarpanen by 1.6, but Ugachukwu is closing down on Clero. Last lap. Can Ugachukwu get past Pedro Clero? And has Nicola Lacorte moved his car away from the W Hotel? I would guess he probably has, otherwise we would have gone to safety car by now. But James Wharton trying to catch up to Valentin Klus, who is going to be lapped by James Wharton if things continue as they are. As they go through, yes, Lacorte has moved his car. So thank goodness we're actually allowed to race to the green flag, to the finish line. But Wharton battling the way. Safety car has been called, apparently. Safety car has apparently been called. Well, leader is on the last lap. At least that's what it said on the timing screen for a moment. Yes, safety car. There it is. The race will finish under safety car conditions. So Wharton, Tarpanen, Lindblad, Claro and Yugachukwu. Well, that's it. They're on the last lap anyway, but the safety car had to be called. There was no option, unfortunately. There was no situation acceptable where we couldn't have finished that race under safety car. So a big difficulty, I'm afraid, for the competitors who were trying to go for it, particularly for Yuga Ugachukwu, who was hoping to get the move on Pedro Claro into the final chicane, I'm sure. But James Wharton has doubled his championship lead. That is a big moment for the Australian. Tarpanen and Lindblad can close right up, but they can't overtake, nor can anyone else. So, a fascinating situation for James Wharton. He will take the victory in fine style. And you know what? He'll take pole position for race 2 this afternoon as well. The only driver to get under 1 minute 57 to finish the race with the fastest lap. Wharton will be pole position for race 2 as well. The Australian looking good for the championship title as James Wharton wins race 1 here at Yas Marina. Second place for Tarpanen, third for Lindblad. It's all provisional, but it's all James Wharton. Fascinating stuff. Now, what has happened to Teofil Nile on the last lap? He was going to be in the points after that epic move around the outside, but the French driver, Teofil Nile, seems to have dropped out of the top 10. Not entirely sure what happened there to Teofil Nile, but he's not been able to finish in the points. Well, big drama at the end of the race there. A very confusing race in F4 UAE by all accounts, but not for James Wharton. He holds on to the lead of the race throughout. Tuka Tarpanen has to settle for second, and Arvid Lindblad in third position. And that means that James Wharton's lead in the title fight has gone up from 6 points to, ironically, 13 points. Number 13 leads by 13. Tarpanen in second, Lindblad in third, and then Pedro Claro, Yuga Ugachukwu, Kanato Lee, Brando Badua, Noah Stromsted, Federico Rifai, and Mohammed Ibrahim are the final points finishers. But can we just say, take a bow, Keanu Al-Azari, having stalled on the grid or had some kind of clutch issue, a throttle issue, whatever it was, but he fought back to 11th. That is absolutely extraordinary. From basically dead last in a 40-car field, for Keanu Al-Azari to storm back to 11th position is quite phenomenal. Akshay Bora in 12th, Noah Lal in 13th, ahead of Nandavud Bidambakti. Another good run from Bidambakti, Gowda and Kai Darianani. The first couple of weekends, Kai Darianani was down at the back of the field in very much rookie mode. Now Darianani is well in the top 20. So many drivers making such a massive turn of development this year. And we've said it before, and we'll definitely say it again. This has been one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive, F4 championship that we have ever seen. Absolutely astonishing turns of speed from so many competitors. But what an extraordinary end to a very thrilling race indeed. And James Wharton comes through for the win in front of Tuka Tarpanen by 1.2 seconds, ahead of Arvid Lindblad and Pedro Claro. Mumbai Falcons do it again, 1 and 2. But as far as the driver's title is concerned, for James Wharton, it's game on. He leads by 13 points, with only 50 points left to score this season. If you're Australian, you can't help but pull a wry grin right now. It's looking good. It's looking very good. Especially when you consider that Wharton is now going to be in pole position for race 2 and race 3. Just keep on keeping on as far as James Wharton is concerned. What a spectacular finale this is set to be for Wharton. Tarpanen got the triple in Dubai, and Wharton is already on the march to win the triple himself here in Yas Marina. A terrific battle in the first race, and James Wharton just hangs on. Tarpanen and Lindblad were about a second away all the way through the race. But I think there's going to be some frustrations for Tuukka Tarpanen. I think he kind of felt in the early stages he might have had a chance of this. But James Wharton is the one who takes the victory and does so in fine style. He now has a 13-point lead in the Drivers' Championship with 2 races and 50 points to go in the 2023 F4 UAE Championship. Let's go down to the pit lane where Feline Wang has found our race winner, James Wharton.
Hey, James, congratulations. Another pole to win. And tell us how this is important for you, since we are in the very last round of the championship.
Yeah, I think for me it's about beating Tuukka this weekend. If I do that all weekend, I end up winning the championship. So for me, it's one goal this weekend is to beat Tuukka and then obviously do my best. I think the pace I have this weekend, I can go 3 from 3. So
问到 James 呢，那这一站的胜利对他来讲为什么特别的重要？他说到呢，如果他一直保持这样的一个领先的优势的话，他可以拿到这个今年全年的总冠军。那么他也希望呢自己能一直保持这样的表现。Back to you guys.
Thanks, Feline. A brilliant battle from James Wharton, and he must be so confident heading to the last 2 races of the year now. The Australian gets the job done in fine style. A terrific performance, a magnificent display. And certainly for James Wharton, that is a very important race to get done in fine style. And he becomes the first driver all weekend to lap the circuit in under 1 minute 57 to score pole position for race 2. So a key race in the battle for the championship fight. Poor Keanu Al-Azhari left on the starting line. But the fact that he was then able to charge his way back to P11 at the finish is really quite an exceptional display from Keanu Al-Azhari. But up at the front, it was James Wharton and Tuukka Tarpanen side by side at the first lap. If Tarpanen had just had a little bit more edge around the outside, it could have been his lead. But then drama struck halfway round the first lap as we had 2 cars spinning with Torelli and Bustamante. Jack Beaton taken out in all of it as well, and that brought out the safety car. Then there were battles further down in the pack, as it looks as though the 2 Cram drivers ended up tangling at the W Hotel. How everybody missed him is a miracle. Then Nicola Lacorte pushing a little bit too hard and drifting the car into the barriers. Managing to get the car started again, fortunately. But James Wharton was able to bring it home for the victory, taking care of all of the issues around him. And he came through to win a safety car-ended race. But he now has a lead of 13 points over Tuukka Tarpanen with 2 races to go. Can the Aussie bag the title? Certainly for the Mumbai Falcons, it's another 1-2 in their title-winning campaign. But what can we do here at Yas Marina? James Wharton is going to be pushing very hard indeed for the title. Looking very good for it at the moment. Here in Formula 4 United Arab Emirates, that is going to be James Wharton in fine style. The 16-year-old from Bundora in Victoria. An excellent performance from him so far. And what a sensational display it has been for him as he takes his 7th win in F4 UAE, which is an exceptional performance as far as he is concerned. And crucially, that is a very important one in terms of his championship campaign. It's his 3rd win of the season. He won 4 races last year. Now he gets to win his 3rd this time. He's steadily rising up the ranks of being one of the ultimate superstars of the world of F4 UAE. I'm fairly sure that that victory now makes him the 4th most successful driver in F4 UAE history in terms of race victories. There is Arvid Lindblad, making his way to the rostrum in third position. A good run for him here at Yas. Hopefully that investigation is going to come out in his favour. Tuka Tarpanen in second position, and he will take the rookie trophy. But James Wharton picks up a crucial third victory of the season. And the Victorian has done a fantastic job there. The Australian in fantastic performance, getting his third win of the season, and now takes a 13-point lead. It's his 15th podium finish off the back of his 4th pole position, and he just set his 8th fastest lap as well. Race 2 cannot come fast enough for James Anthony Wharton. The 16-year-old really has a great chance to continue his fantastic form. This is a big one for James Wharton. The third win of the season might be the most important one yet. Psychologically, it puts him one step ahead in terms of the championship fight. It's absolutely crucial. Yuga Wugachukwu finishing down in 5th position. I'm fairly sure that is conclusive in the championship fight as well. Valerio Rinicella drops out of contention in the championship fight, I'm afraid. So he will not be competing for the title in the final 2 races. But as the boys spray the fizz, it's been a very exciting battle here in the F4 UAE Championship, and there are now 2 races to go. The first of those is coming up later this afternoon. From Feline Wang, from Jake Sanson, hope you've enjoyed race 1. Race 2 could well decide or even out the title fight. Bring it on.